Good evening. The Montgomery County Board of Education is now ready to hold its special call meeting. Today's date is June 24th, 2025, and the time is now 5 o'clock. We do have, and the meeting is now being called to order. We have a quorum present at this time. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to amend the agenda and pull item A and items H through K, and I'm willing to speak to it.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to amend the agenda, pulling items A and H through K. Is there a second?
I second.
It has been motioned and second. Is there any discussion? All those in, all those,
Excuse me,
is there
Madam.
discussion?
Excuse me, Madam President. For the motion, it's unclear as to which item A,
Oh,
under which particular agenda section. So if Board Member Coleman could specify her motion in which section she's referring to, then we would need to have a new motion and a new second.
Thank you very much. Again, Madam President, I move to amend the agenda by removing under item 6, consider for approval, items A and then H through K.
I second.
all right, there's a motion to remove items 8A,
6A.
6A, H through K. Is there a second? It has been seconded by Claudia Mitchell. Is there any discussion?
Yes, thank you. I have a concern about the sample that was placed under the communications policy. It's a sample, and we haven't had the opportunity to discuss that sample. As a matter of fact, with the other items, H through K, we have not had the opportunity to discuss those items, and I would love to have the opportunity in a work session to discuss the items that I'm requesting we pull.
Is there any more discussion?
I have similar concerns in that I would like an assessment to see how the increase in those positions would affect our financial stability. So I would like to receive an assessment on that.
All right, Ms. Brown.
Sorry. I have a concern, and I guess it would be good for us to hear some information from the CSFO, if she can give us some clarity, so that we would have an idea of actually, what we're voting on and what the impacts are.
I think it would be most appropriate to maybe have that come from Dr. Byrd, since he's proposing those job descriptions, to allow him to do that.
That's
And
fine.
if he would need Ms. Watkins to follow up, then we could have her to follow up if he so desires. All right, Dr. Byrd. Just if you'd like to give him, add to the discussion. Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
have-
Thank you. We have a new motion on the floor that has been moved and seconded to remove items 6A, H through K. It has been moved and seconded. We've had discussion. All those in favor, do so by showing of hands. Motion fails. All right, moving on. And we'll get to that just because I think it's still a relevant question, so we'll still get to that. All right. All right. At this time, the board will go into executive session for personnel matter. Oh, wait.
So we're still
need to approve the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We had a whole discussion. I do apologize. So at this time, is there a motion to approve the original, the agenda as is?
I motion to approve the original agenda.
We have a
As
motion. Is there a second?
I second.
It has been moved and second. All those in favor do so by a showing of hands.
Madam President, any discussion prior to this?
Any discussion about this? Thank you.
I would like to say something.
Okay.
My understanding when I came here, I'm not going to say that I did not have concerns as the three ladies that just raised their hand. I did have concerns. And my understanding after checking on this was that, I had heard that there were like 10 new positions. And has now come to my attention after I did my due diligence and homework that it isn't 10 positions at all. We knew of the federal programs director. We also very much needed the student support thing, or whatever, the one that helps with ACAP and test. And 3 of the positions are merely repurposed. They're not new positions at all. They're new jobs. They're not new jobs. They're people doing far beyond the job of the original duty. And now by them coming out, they would have to reapply, but they would actually receive the pay that they are due. So we're not looking at $100,000 jobs. We're looking at a promotion of about, I think, 3 to 4 people, and we're looking at very minimal at money concerns. So I became as unconcerned as soon as I did some checking, because they've always said in the past, if you ever had questions, call and ask. What exactly is this? And like I said, I was just as concerned as you ladies. And I do think that some of because this is the discussion, I think we've got some overlapping
The-
jobs that need to be looked
Dr. Keith,
at.
and I do apologize for cutting you off. I do believe that your discussion is appropriate for this particular meeting. However, it needs to take place when we reach that portion of the agenda. Any discussion right now should be regarding whether or not you guys want to keep the agenda as is based off of the motion.
But I want them to understand I had the same concerns. If you're going to ask me for discussions, okay, you're going to get discussions,
Well,
and that's what you got.
And this is just so we can go into the discussion about the position, but we need to approve the agenda right now.
All right.
So it has been moved and second. All those in favor do so by a showing of hands. All right. We're 3. All right. Now, at this time, thank you, Attorney Powell. At this time, the board will go into executive session over personnel matters, good name and character. We should be in executive session for approximately about an hour. During the executive session, no votes will be taken. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I motion that we go into executive session.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and second that we go into executive session. All those in favor, for approximately an hour, all those in favor do so by a show of hands. It is unanimous. At this time, the board is in executive session.
Okay.
We're so excited to have you here for the grand opening and ribbon cutting of our new esports lounge.
I'm very excited because they give a way of us young people to connect, and it brings out a good environment and everything. And I learned yesterday that people can have similar hobbies, and that can start a friendship or maybe a possible career for them in their future lives.
To be able to have a space that's across the street from JAG, right next to Danley, in the center of our community, right, with 30 different systems, that if you walk in there, you know, I was asking some of the youth that came in the space earlier how it felt to them, right? Like, how did it make them feel? They said, oh, it's unbelievable, right? For them to be able to have smiles, sit down, and be able to feel comfortable in a space in a YMCA, that's what we're doing it for. And so I'm excited for what this can be. I'm excited for to be able to open up the avenue for esports teams through the high schools to be able to come and have this as their home base, right? Like, to be able to say, hey, we got the best esports space in the entire country, right? Like, you can't compete with us. And so that's what I want.
It's important that every student goes to school every single day.
That's right, every single school day.
Because face it, if we don't come to school, how will we prepare ourselves for our futures?
I want to be prepared for the future, so I'm making sure I go to school every day.
Parents, did you know that if a student misses at least 2 days of school a month, they've missed at least 20% of classroom instruction?
And missing that much of school without a valid reason causes students to fall behind academically.
Work together to ensure students are present in the classroom.
Together, we can do this.
Because it's our future.
It's our future.
And our future impacts our communities.
Let's be present together, MPS.
So the robotics program for Montgomery Public Schools started as a grant through Hyundai. And we are from under the grant now. This is our second year being funded through the school district, but they continue to be our partner and help sponsor the event along with Auburn SCORE. So we have robotics teams at 8 of the middle schools here in Montgomery, and today they're coming together to compete against each other in the district. And if they win today, they'll be going to state, which we hosted in Auburn at the end of the month.
I think that this is a great opportunity for us to skill build and also get students working with technology. We obviously know that in the industries that they'll be working for will be all about collaboration and technology. And so it's fun to watch our students as they collaborate together. They get roles, so you'll have team leaders, coders, drivers, and then critical thinking skills, being able to adjust and make decisions on the dime. Those are all really, really important skills that students need to be successful, but also great experiences for life.
So a lot of things that me and my team did to prepare for today, we practiced it with our other team that we're in alliance with. We all did game strategies and stuff, and we had worked on the robot, like different problems that we were having. We had made sure that we fixed them before we came to them. My favorite part about being on my school's robotics team means that like I can represent them in many different ways for robotics.
I've been coaching here for 9 years. I have just recently became the head coach in the past 2 seasons. Some of the most important values that we try to instill in the players is teamwork, accountability, communication, time management. I try to explain to the kids on and off the field that time management is a huge part of being successful here and in college and in life. Holding each other accountable to make the team better makes them better individually. I've had a lot of great coaches over the years. There has been one that I have played for and I have coached with, and she has taught me how to care for the players personally and athletically. It was Coach Chris Steiner Leak. I played for her at AUM, and she coached here at Brewtech for 2 years. She was the head coach the year we won the state championship in 2023. And while she's hard on the players, she loved them, and she taught me how that there's a line where you can be hard, but also, still show empathy and compassion for your kids. My most memorable moment since I've been at Brewtech is in 2023 when we won the state championship. We had a great team, barely any drama. You know how high school kids can be. They worked hard on and off the field. We didn't have to worry about their grades. We didn't have to worry about whether they were putting in extra work or not. The day we won the state championship, we had played 3 games the previous day and 4 games, including the 2 state championship games. We had a 6 or so hour rain delay, and we didn't get finished playing until midnight, and the girls had graduation the next day. So to see their heart and their drive and not wanting to leave for graduation or not wanting to give up in that 6-hour rain delay and having to play 7 games in 2 days, it was probably one of the best moments that I've been a part of as an athlete or a coach. This is Beyond the Locker Room, elevating the game one conversation at a time.
like this help our students develop their confidence. You know, they spend so much time in the classroom practicing and practicing, and now they can actually showcase their abilities. And this allows us also to connect with our community as well, because then the community can see all the work that has been put in to nights like this and see what our kids have accomplished. And so then our community becomes invested in our students, we become invested in our students, and then they see us believing in them, which then allows them to believe that they're achieving at a high level.
With the preparation, we started maybe like 2 weeks ago. That's when we got the music, and me and my peers, Gabrielle and David, we basically practiced together in the band room after practice, long hours, as well as preparing for another event. Then we came together Saturday at Carver High School with everyone, and we practiced for about 9 to 12. And we just basically worked on the music, ran through any kinks or crevices, wherever it was needed to be worked on.
I feel like tonight would be the perfect opportunity for students to display their talents outside of the classroom. It's almost a hub of creativity. You have artists here, you have musicians here, you have dancers here, singers here. The students get an opportunity to show what they really learn how to do in the classroom and display it to other students as well as their parents and other people who are coming out to watch them, and it's an amazing event.
Nights like this bring out the confidence in our students. They work so hard and diligently in the classroom to be able to produce and create such magnificent music and pieces that we just want to be able to showcase them and bring that confidence level up a whole notch of high expectations.
Most of us are performers, so it's interesting being on the other side of the creative process and being able to perform it ourselves as well. So it was really fun. It's broadening our horizons.
probably no better example of democracy than a jazz ensemble, because it's individual freedom, but with responsibility to the group. So the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz has several components. We have a college program at UCLA. We sponsor International Jazz Day along with UNESCO every April 30th. We have an international jazz competition. And we also have our national peer-to-peer jazz education program, where we take 5 or 6 of the very top high school jazz musicians, put them behind a top-notch, famous recording artist, instrumental and vocalist, and we tour the country. And we've been to 36 states. This year, we have 4 states on the docket, and Alabama is one of them.
So our role as high school students, we go around to different states. This is the 37th state we've been in the peer-to-peer tours. And what we do is we go around to different high schools around the state, and we give a presentation like the one we did today on informants. We play a little bit and we talk a little bit, and hopefully hearing the high school students hearing what we did will hopefully inspire them more than, not to say more, but probably more than adults playing our music. Seeing that people their age can do it, that they can do it.
It was kind of nervousy. Like, it felt kind of overwhelmed because like I didn't know what was going to happen in the moment. Because I was gonna go in, sit down and do my own thing, and then she was like, "Put down your stuff, take them off. You gotta see somebody." Oh, I didn't know I had to see somebody, so I asked the professional. She asked me if I was a singer. I said yes, and then she said, "You like surprises?" I was like, "Yes, I love surprises." And then she was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna tell you then." That's what shook me.
It's really instilled in me, like, the importance of hard work and dedication, because even though this music is all about freedom and expression, and it's all coming from within you, there is a certain level of study you have to do, and like in order to play at a high level, you have to do your homework and do your research and learn things. So it's really instilled in me that sense of hard work, expression, man. Like, I always tell the story, like, before jazz, I think I didn't express my way how I can express now through jazz. Like, I've always been not a very extroverted person, but man, it's been times where I almost scare myself with how expressive I am, like, with jazz. So it's amazing.
Don Braden and the National Peer-to-Peer Jazz Sextet. One more time, Booker T.
give the young ladies a round of applause. We had a heck of a season out here.
I gave you everything too. It was my fault. Yeah, you got everything from me. Let me check the other folder just to make sure. Yeah, they got everything. The Montgomery County Board of Education meeting is now, we will now reconvene or convene a special call board meeting. No votes were taken during the executive session. Our next agenda item is receive as information from Christy Hatch, the GPR updates for the 2025-2026 update.
Good evening, Dr. Byrd and board members. Thank you for your time to present this information. Since I last presented the information to you regarding any changes or updates to the GPR, the committee was asked to add a couple of little adjustments to it, a couple of things to be added. And so in red is what is different, and there are additions to the language that was previously there. And these are on page 38, and it is in the high school section, so all of this only applies to the high school portion. And we were asked to add a statement that says all grades, to include dual enrollment, virtual, and grade corrections, must be posted 10 days prior to the scheduled graduation ceremony. The next statement that we were asked to add is, and again, this is just an addition. We didn't take anything out or change anything. We just added a statement that schools must not communicate the valedictorian and salutatorian until the transcripts, GPA, and class ranking identified in PowerSchool match the hand-calculated verification sheets. This must be verified and documented by the school counselor, the assigned school analyst, and the guidance specialist. Communication should be shared privately with the students who are ranked as valedictorian and salutatorian instead of in a small or large group. It should be done privately. And, got another page. Here we go. And then this is new. This part did change, and this is just to give very clear, this year's seniors that just graduated, they're the ones that phased out of that. They had any record of I-Now on their transcripts, and now everybody has Power School. And just to make sure that everybody is calculating correctly and consistently, we just broke down exactly the steps of how to calculate it. And then we've also provided a worksheet, a sample worksheet, and then a blank worksheet that they can have and calculate. This way we can share it, the parents can be aware, and we can all be on of the same accord in calculations. Did you have any questions? That's the quickest I think I've ever come in front of you with the GPR. Any questions on this? Yes.
At this time, Ms. Portis has one, then we'll go with Ms. Cloud.
In sharing, where will they share? Where will this information be shared so the parents can obtain it and the students?
Bird charges, so we will make that available on the website. So we're creating that. It should be available by the start of school. And it also have all of the information, dual enrollment, and you know, and what courses are included in the weights, all the way from 8th grade up. So it'll be on the website on the parent, under the parent section. Even though it's embedded, I mean, we're going to make it more visible on the parent section. So if you go to the website in the parent section, it will be there.
Ms. Cloud?
Yes, I would also like it shared during the Title I parent meeting that's required. They need to know about it and shared in paper so that everyone has the opportunity to have it in hand at the beginning of the school. And that must be done the first 30 days, at no later for school starting. Also noted, any Carnegie unit earned in 7th grade, which would be anything accelerated, would not be counted. But any Carnegie unit in 8th grade, which would be a upper ranked course, would be counted for the weight. Okay, I just want to make sure.
It would be counted, the Carnegie
I want
unit would be
this so
counted,
that
yes.
parents know ahead of time at that Title I meeting, please. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Ms. Hatch. The next agenda item is committee appointments. And this is a really quick one. There would just be one additional committee appointment because we already had other ones that are aligned with the strategic plan and the 100-day plan. This one will just be on the superintendent's evaluation. And just a note for everybody in our committee work to ensure that we have additional people a part of our committee. Board members, please make recommendations to board members serving on those committees. And so that if there's someone you would like to have placed in that committee work, let that particular board member know. And to include staff on these committees. And the purpose of the superintendent evaluation is just so that we can start the work of preparing, finding an assessment tool for that and creating the timeline. And at this time, I do know that Ms. Cloud has asked to serve on that committee. Our next agenda item is consider for approval. Dr. Byrd.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Madam President, board members. Board members, Whitten, right before I ask for your approval, I would like to ask Whitten, Ms. Wilson wants to share Whitten just a brief update, just to answer some clarifying questions that you all may have regarding the wireless device policy. And so she just want to give you just a brief update.
Madam President, Dr. Byrd, members of the board, I think it was in our June work session, I reviewed the Senate Bill 92, otherwise known as the Focus Act, and we went over the policy for the new devices, or the new device policy. What's before you today for approval is that policy. It is right now as in draft, but as soon as it's approved, we'll move forward with the action. The bill requires us to approve this by July 1st. So all boards must adopt the policy. The draft was reviewed by Attorney Powell, and then AASB provided guidance on what should be included in the policy that you see before you. Are there any questions that I could?
Any questions?
And also,
Dr.
yes,
No, I don't have any questions, but I do owe you an apology because I very well remember you making that presentation. But when I saw it and I realized there were so many items in it that are going to be difficult for our people, our district to enforce, I just got really, concerned. There were a lot of things that pulled at us this weekend as we were preparing to come in here today, and we might have already discussed this when it comes down to our yonder pouches, and we might have talked about this last month. Is that going to be considered off the body? And, if they have to be put in a locker, what if there's not easy access to lockers? Some schools don't have backpacks, so we can't put them in backpacks. Some students don't drive cars, so they can't put them in cars. And I do remember, I don't know if it's at some of these meetings we've attended or if you talked to us about it, but attorneys across the state are still trying to get answers for us to see how we can best implement this in our own districts. So.
You're absolutely correct. And Dr. Williamson and her team with Ms. Johnson, they had a meeting with our principals to discuss everything that you just brought up. So we do have an action plan developed. We have a plan A, which would include for secondary the pouches. But if not, we have a plan B. What we'd like to do after the policy is approved, we would like to move forward, connect with Attorney Powell, talk to Dr. Bird, and get a definitive answer that goes in our code of conduct so parents can understand and we can start working on our communication plan.
and also to add to that, Dr. Mackey, the state superintendent, also recognized at our conference there was a lot of confusion, and he also recognized, of course, that the attorneys are even confused as well. And so he has actually promised to provide us with guidance, hopefully by the end of the month. And so,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Cloud?
Yes. I know for a fact that a school in my district, they do not assign lockers. So if we're going to use this, we have to be due diligence in giving our children lockers for them to be able to have access to. So that's something we need to check about because they're not getting assigned lockers and it's not fair. We're going to say put in a locker and they don't have a locker. So we need to make sure that that's available to them.
Yes, we've discussed that. Actually, we're doing a locker assessment in all of our secondary schools. We have more students than we have lockers, and so we want to make sure that we have a plan that's being able to be followed, like you just stated, for every building. And so all of that is happening right now. We met maybe 2 weeks ago and started as soon as we presented to you at the work session.
Well, they're lockers. They're just not assigned lockers. They're not giving the combination or the key or whatever it takes to actually have utilization of the locker. It may be in the building, but they're not getting to use them. I want to make sure if we're going to do this, that they have access to having a locker. Thank you.
And that's because there's too many children. So you can't pick and choose who gets a locker and who doesn't. So they don't assign them to anybody. And Locker Pro's gone out of business, so now you're looking for another vendor for lockers. But my question is, so we wouldn't be trying to enforce this until we've put all the pieces together. Is that right?
That's correct. The first part is the policy. And then, of course, we've already drafted different scenarios that'll work for us. So after Dr. Mackey provides clarity, perhaps, or someone from the State Department, along with Attorney Powell, will be able to make the best decision. But I'm confident that the plans that we worked on really cover whatever the answer may be.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Dr. Key?
Will there be, for teachers that do use, like laptops for research and writing, will there be, or even debate, will there be provisions made or, some kind of thing, or is this, hey, they're never to have them?
So
ever?
we do have the ability to allow for our devices, the MPS devices, to be used for instructional purposes.
Okay.
And so we still have the student acceptable policy that they have to sign before they're issued any MPS device.
And that's the iPad.
Correct, or laptop or Chromebook or what have you.
Okay. All right.
If I could just provide further, the policy, the drafted policy is drafted in a way to be compliant with what the law currently states. And so, Ms. Portis, to your question regarding whether or not it will be enforced, I just would like to make sure that it's clarified that the board will enforce policies based off of what the law requires. However, as it's been stated, everybody is still very confused about how actually to implement this particular law and policy. And so things are still kind of being figured out across the state. However, the policy as presented is drafted in a way to be compliant with what the law currently states. And the law requires that a policy be in place by July 1st. As of right now, we don't have any other meetings scheduled to be able to implement a policy. So having it be considered for approval today keeps the board in compliance with what the law requires.
Thank you, Attorney Powell. Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
And we can always do an addendum, can't we? If something should change with the attorneys finding out, we can
Yes,
always.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Byrd, next agenda item.
Okay. All right, Superintendent recommends your approval of the wireless communication device policy.
The superintendent has made a recommendation for the wireless communication device policy. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent.
Is there a second?
I second it.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, do so by showing of hands. It is unanimous.
Thank you. Superintendent recommends approval of the 2025-2026 GPR updates.
Superintendent's made a recommendation for the approval of the 2025-2026 GPR updates. Is there a motion?
Madam President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
And I second
It
it.
has been motion and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, do so by showing of hands. It's unanimous.
Thank you. Superintendent recommends approval of the committee appointments.
Thank you, Dr. Byrd. The superintendent's made a recommendation for the committee appointments. Is there a motion?
Madam President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
And I second it.
All right, and we do know that that was my role, but we're gonna give him some grace. It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor do so by showing of hands. All right, it is unanimous. All right, Dr. Byrd.
Thank you. Superintendent recommends approval of the personnel report, certified personnel.
Superintendent's made a recommendation for the personnel report, certified personnel. Is there a motion?
Madam President, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for certified personnel.
I second it.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor do so by showing of hands. It is unanimous.
Thank you. Superintendent recommends approval of the personnel report, certified addendum.
All right, the superintendent has made a recommendation to approve the personnel report certified addendum. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation on the personnel report certified addendum.
I second it.
It has been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor do so by a showing of hands. It is unanimous.
Thank you. At this time, Madam President and Board, the superintendent would like to recommend tabling of item F, personnel report certified addendum 2.
All right, the superintendent has made a motion to table personnel report certified addendum number 2. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the recommendation to table by the superintendent. I second.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor do so by showing of hands. Unanimous.
Thank you. Superintendent recommends approval of the personnel report, classified personnel.
The Superintendent's made a recommendation for the personnel report, classified personnel. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation on classified personnel.
Is there a second?
I second it.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor do so by a showing of hands. It's unanimous. It is it unanimous? Okay. It is, thank you all. It is 6-1. All right. The next item, Dr. Byrd.
Okay, thank you. Madam President, Board, before I go into these next items, I would just like to thank the board members for your engagement and your thoughtful questions and concerns that many of you all have raised regarding the proposed job descriptions. I want to say that I fully agree that any structural or staffing decisions must be physically responsible, strategic, and directly connected to improved outcomes for our students. That said, I believe the positions, particularly those in communications, school improvement, customer service, and partnership, are aligned with our 100-day plan and our strategic plan, and they are essential for us to move MPS forward. They're about building targeted capacity in the areas that will help us to better serve schools, support our teachers, engage families, and tell our stories more effectively. These roles are critical to supporting the work already underway and will directly contribute to training, strategic planning, and improving day-to-day experiences for our students, our staffs, and our families. With that being said, I recommend the job description, school improvement specialist/educational specialist. This position, it is designed to strengthen our ability to support classroom teachers, particularly non-certified and early career educators, by providing high-impact coaching, modeling effective instructional practices, and helping schools implement data-driven strategies to improve student outcomes. The role will also assist leaders in identifying areas of academic weaknesses and developing tailored improvement plans aligned with district goals. So with that being said, superintendent recommends approval of action item H, job description, school improvement specialist.
All right, the superintendent's made a recommendation for the approval of the job description for school improvement specialist/education specialist. Is there a motion?
Yes, I want to recommend that we accept the motion for the job description of school improvement specialist, educational specialist.
Is there a second?
I second it.
It has been moved and second. Any discussion?
I have discussion.
Ms. Brown?
Okay, the discussion is actually,
If I could get Ms. Cloud to make a motion, you made a recommendation to the board. If you would please rephrase and make a motion by moving to move forward with your motion.
I move, okay.
Thank you.
Let me start over. I move to accept the recommendation for job description, school improvement specialist, educational specialist.
All right, it has been moved, properly moved, and second by Ms. Keith. Do you want to second it again?
I second it.
Okay, it has been moved and second, and we're still with discussion.
Mhm. And I have discussion, it's basically for the next 4 items. And I don't necessarily have an issue, but the issue that I have is the way that this information was presented to us. And I would definitely ask that in the future, to at least have small meetings or one-on-ones so that we could clearly grasp what is being given to us to absorb. And we've had several notes going back and forth. The CSFO has tried to, give us as much information as possible. And it was, confusing at times. It was a lot of information to absorb in a very short period of time. We were still receiving information as late as this afternoon. And so I would really, really like if we do this, in the future to have these small meetings so that everybody is in alignment. And I do believe that some of the information that has been provided to us by the CSFO could have been used in these small meetings, because it's information that we have received when the explanations came out, when we did, last year, when we did the restructuring of the, pay scale. So that information that was given to us at that time, it was easy to digest because we understood it. It was brought to us. It was, we understood it, and it was, accepted. So, Dr. Bird, I really would like for us to receive communication that way. And I'll just end my discussion right there.
Yes, ma'am. Understand? Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that happens.
Well, I do want to, and I do appreciate you bringing that up, so I'm adding myself to the discussion. It is customary, I do know, for the superintendents to send out the information. However, I can recount times in the past that has not happened. We've hired for positions within the same form through the connection where we got descriptions of it. We were not brought into small groups about it. But it is, if that's the desire of the board moving forward, we will work with Dr. Bird to make that happen. But I did want to just point out that, this is a good thing to do this. It's not a bad thing, but it's, it is outside of what we've customarily been used to and what's been common practice. But duly noted, and Dr. Bird will make sure that that happens moving forward. Because another thing that we want to also make sure is that we're not getting in the way of the hires specifically, because that also was something we were being accused of. So hate to put it out there like that, but it is what it is. All right.
Madam Chair.
Madam,
I had my hand up.
Ms.
was up
Cloud,
first.
and then
Okay.
I
Mine
think
was
Ms.
up
Mitchell, and then Dr. Coleman. And
Okay.
then Lisa. Dr. Key.
Per precedence before, I understand what you're saying. I read through it in the board connections and understood all of the job descriptions very easily. Further information from the CSFO. So I was fine, and it's not adding to, it's just redesigning. Basically, it's positions that are there, they're just taking on different avenues for these new titles. They're just doing that, but they were in the board connections, so I was very comfortable with this, and the precedence has been set before, it, just like you said, that we were just given the titles because that's the day-to-day. All right, thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to say that, I'm in agreement. I know we do need new positions and that type of thing, but we do want to try to be fiscally responsible, because actually we're about to come up to the sunset clause that's in the millage, and we have to be very careful about every dollar that we spend, and we want to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible in whatever we get. And that was my issue when I saw so many new positions, and I wanted to understand which ones did we need most and first. And I just wanted to make sure that I had a good understanding of that before I voted on them. But every position we need, there is no doubt. But they're looking at that, in 26, we're going to have to campaign in the legislature because they're voting in 27. And it will be here in 28, and they could non-renew. And if they don't renew, we'll lose the arts, the music, the assistant principals, and the foreign language information that we have. So we don't want our credit rating to go down. We're building new schools. We know that we're going to have increases from the building. It's not going to be what it is today, 6 months from now. So we just want to be responsible and truly understand so we can make wise decisions.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Dr. Coleman?
Well, I think several things that I wanted to say have been said. I won't be repetitive, but it is important. I will piggyback on a little bit of what our District 6 representative has said. Our branding and our image is vitally important. And if we look like we are rushing in to make major changes, then the question will be, well, what was wrong? We are making these changes in less than 90 days. And when we talk about best practices, usually that first 100 days is a time for observation, collecting data and information, communicating with various committees and persons, and making certain that the moves we make are connected to that strategic plan, but also are best for our finances, best for our community. And we want to make certain that when we make these decisions, we're making decisions that our public can have complete faith and confidence in the fact that we have truly vetted this information. Yes, the information did come out in the connection. I read it, I understood it. I did have a lot of questions. Why so fast? Why are we moving so fast to make so many critical changes? I am very pleased and happy that our superintendent has heard our voices and has pulled a number of those recommendations for later. And as we look at the ones that are still before us, reflecting on our past practices, not that we want to repeat everything that we did in the past. Everything we did in the past might not have been the best for our district. But in the past, we either had a work session or the items were at least minimally discussed as receive as information on the day that we were doing the voting. So we are in the process of voting and having the detailed discussions that normally we would have in a work session, or at least we would receive as information prior to the superintendent's recommendation for a vote. Thank you.
I wanted to piggyback off of our president, who very clearly said and kind of retaliated against some of the statements that were made prior to her when she stated that, and, it was like, hey, moving forward, we would rather have this because we've never had this. I want to remind you of the past administration, we did not know too many things. In fact, it was today that I found out all the salary raises that were given under a prior superintendent that were astronomical, that I said were astronomical when we voted them to 40 and 60,000. What we're doing now and what these moves, promotions, not new jobs, are doing is when you give these people these new jobs, but you don't give them a job description and you are giving them jobs that overlap other jobs, everybody's thinking A's handling it, B's handling it, or C's handling it. Well, now with these new job descriptions, it pretty much checks the box. And if they're not doing their job, guess what? Now we have more of a right to say, hey, you're not doing your job, bye. The thing that we're doing here is really doing something that needed to be done all along. Because some of the people, we paid them salaries, but they didn't up their job at all. They passed the job to somebody else. So this way, when you're going to up it 40 to 60, you're going to make sure they earn that 40 to 60. And if they don't, that box ain't going to be checked, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that man that we hired there is going to make sure that that happens. So when I heard that, that was when, to insinuate that something new's been going on, no, nothing's new's going on. We finally have somebody that's going to make somebody accountable in every single area. And I'm not only proud of him, I'm proud of our president for pointing that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Keefe. Ms. Cloud? I'm sorry, Ms. Cordis.
I agree. I agree with a lot of things. We conceded for a salary reschedule at the discomfort of several of us, but we went along with it to move it. So it is time that we create jobs and move people to where they're comfortable. Move people where we can get the best return on investment from them. I do agree with Ms. Brown in the order that we receive it, and I've had this conversation with Dr. Byrd because he's always accessible. And if I'm confused, I always pick up the phone and let him know. But I think that's the best way, not to have information coming from different pockets. That way we know the superintendent is sending us this, and these are the attachments from the department that supports what the superintendent's sending. I like that because it doesn't have you comparing and moving. Because in the end, after you read it all, you're on the same page. Ms. Watkins wants us to be careful not to insult your intelligence. We know that you've taken that under consideration. And we know that you are strategically moving to get us where we need to be. But I do agree with the flow of information, the ease of the flow of it.
I'll raise my.
I'm just going to go in seat order. I'll start with Ms. Brown, then Ms. Cloud.
The question that I have, did I not see Ms. Watkins on the list that there were new jobs? Some jobs were listed as new, right? Okay, I just want to make sure. Huh?
Ms. Cloud.
Okay. As far as the sunset, I'm going to tell you, what they're looking for is to see us move forward and not just stay stagnant in where we have been before, and that's what we're doing. We're moving forward. We're putting people in positions that they can excel in, and also aligning what we need to be doing, and it will be readily seen and available for people to observe, including the legislator. And they have always said they don't want to do the sunset, but they want to see innovation, they want to see improvement, and they want to see us working towards goals. And that's why I'm not concerned about the sunset at all. Thank you.
I think 4 board members have talked, at least 4 board members have reached out to those that came up with that sunset law, and they met with them and let them know as long as we are changing, we have no problems with that.
Thank you, Dr. Keaton. Any further discussion? All right, at this time, have we motioned and voted? At this time, okay. At this time, is there a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation? Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. I'll bring me back. Had a long conversation. All those in favor of the superintendent's recommendation do so by a show of hands. It is 5-2. Oh, 6-1. Count them again. I saw hands come up later. Oh. All right. It is 6-1. Is there? Well, let me ask. Are there any no votes? 1.
Madam President, I don't know if this is out of order or not. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if this is out of order or not. It seems that, for the record, when we got to item G, there was a motion to table and a second. And I thought you did call for the yes votes, and it was unanimous. And someone said to me that I did not vote on that. Okay.
We all voted on G.
Okay.
The classified.
No, I didn't. It was unanimous. She has it in her records. Because I was told that I voted no on it, and I just wanted to make that correction for the record. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item, Dr. Byrd.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So did we vote on H? I'm sorry. Okay, want to make sure.
Okay. All right. All right. Yes, yes, ma'am. Customer service specialist / human resource specialist. The customer service specialist will help bring our vision of a Chick-fil-A standard of service to life by training staff, monitoring stakeholder experiences, and using data to improve how we engage with our families, with our employees, and the community. Rebuilding trust starts with how people are treated when they enter our schools, and we must be intentional in creating welcoming environments, responsive environments. This part-time role will also help human resources by addressing the growing needs for assistance with teacher certification. With the high number of non-certified teachers that we have in our district, and last county was over 400, this individual will help guide them towards provisional and alternative certification options, reducing the strain on our already current HR staff. We know right now that with over 400 non-certified teachers at this point, we only have one specialist that's actually handling all of those issues. And so this part-time position would actually help in that as well. This position, it also strengthens two key priorities within that we have. And of course, that is stakeholder engagement and teacher quality, which are also listed in our strategic plan. With that being said, Superintendent recommends item I, job description for a customer service specialist / HR specialist.
The superintendent has made a recommendation for the job description of customer service specialist, HR specialist. Is there a motion?
I motion that I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for I, job description, customer service specialist, HR specialist.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
It has been moved in second, although, is there any discussion?
Yes.
All right, I
Discussion.
have Dr. Keefe, Dr. Coleman, Ms. Brown, and Ms. Portis.
Okay, my comment here, I do agree that we need that, and I like the idea of, to telling our story more so than it's been told on a week-to-week basis and all that kind of stuff, so I'm excited about that. But one of the things that I want to make sure that it covers is one of the number one complaints for the 11 years that I've served on this board, and I'm not trying to put down secretaries, but it's the very first people that you meet when you walk into our schools. And so many, I know that there's going to be days that there's going to be problems with parents and the secretaries, I get that. But sometimes it's just like you said, when you say Chick-fil-A, we always get my pleasure. Well, you should be addressed with my pleasure when they walk through the door. And when they're not, I would hope that this position holds some type of accountability to those that are not. And when we find out that that's not happened, then this person addresses these people that are, I think you agree that the whole purpose of this position, if it is indeed to have a Chick-fil-A mentality, it needs to be a Chick-fil-A mentality from the time they even call down here to get somebody. It shouldn't just be your secretary's job to answer the phone. We need to have a receptionist, somebody that is going to answer that phone, because I don't know how many of us board members, I can't get anybody to answer, can't get anybody, or when I did go to that school, they were so rude. That's got to stop. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes, thank you. When I see the customer service, I like the front end, but just for consideration, not getting into the day-to-day, but I would love to see a customer service department or division do some follow-up. We have often talked about the exit of our teachers. Why are they leaving? That piece could be added in. But one thing I've looked for years, and I have seen it across the nation, so I know it's possible, to follow up with our graduates. When our students leave us, where do they go? What do they do? How did they feel about the service that they got here? So, just as a comment, as we move forward in building these new divisions and new departments, is to make certain that we broaden the scope and make certain that we do some follow-up, as well as making certain that we are positive on the front end.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Brown?
I just want a clarification. You said this is a part-time position?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes, ma'am. Well, then, the person will be dedicated part-time customer service and part-time HR. And so when we talk about what in this person right here, this person will also be responsible for monitoring data. So this is the outlook that we have. Anytime that you have interactions with our staff, stakeholders will have the opportunity to actually to participate in a survey. Anytime you call one of our schools, we're going to have it what is set up to where you would actually get a text message or an email follow-up asking you, how was your service on today? And so this would be available for all of our schools, all of our departments, whether here at the central office. It would be this person's job to actually to take that data, review that data, and we're going to use it to have conversations every month with our principals, with our supervisors. We're going to monitor and we're going to analyze that data. And when we find out that some of our employees are not meeting the standard, it would be this person's role to go out and actually offer additional training. So all of our employees are going to receive all of the training on the front end this summer. And again, they're going to be aware of the expectations. They're going to be trained. We're going to give them all of the supports that they need to deliver great customer service to our stakeholders. Anytime we find out where something isn't happening the way it should be, or some of our employees are not living up to the expectations that we have, this person would actually go out and provide additional training or retrain that.
This is going to be one person.
One person
doing all of this.
Yes, yeah,
and crunching data.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
doing surveys.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Unless we can get a full. But we've been physical.
Which is another position.
Yes. So the person went in will, and we do recognize it again. So we are trying to get all we possibly can with the funds that we have. So yes, ma'am, this person will have to be part-time customer service, but also part-time HR.
Ms. Cloud, was it you, Ms. Cloud? Making sure I got everybody. Ms. Mitchell, okay. All right. Is there, all those in favor of the superintendent's recommendation for the job description of customer service specialist, HR specialist? If you would do so by a showing of hands. It is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief of Strategic Partnerships. Strategic partnerships are critical to the success of Montgomery Public Schools, particularly at this time. It is essential that we rebuild and strengthen relationships with key internal and external stakeholders. While we've made significant progress in recent weeks, sustaining and expanding these efforts, especially in the areas of advocacy and resource development, requires a focused, coordinated approach. Establishing this position would enable us to meet this need. This position will be responsible for leading the development, the coordination, and the management of strategic relationships that align with MPS's vision to improve academic achievement, expand access to opportunities, and support the whole child. With that being said, Superintendent recommends approval of item J, job description for Chief of Strategic Partnerships.
The superintendent's made a recommendation for the job description of Chief of Strategic Partnership. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
And I second it.
It has been moved and second. Any discussion?
I have discussion.
Ms. Brown?
Dr. Burt, so when I look at strategic partnerships, I think of brand, and I think of who's the face of MPS. And so I look at you to be the face of MPS. And with strategic partnerships, that's the person that we would look to go and form relationships with businesses and things of that nature. Are you removing yourself from that, or is this in addition to?
No, ma'am, not at all. This is in addition to, this person will work with me. And the purpose of this, of course, again, is to expand relationships that we have. For example, we've been very strategic in actually forming relationships with Meta, forming relationships with Hyundai. We want to make sure that we actually expand this to make sure that we're inviting everybody to the table. And so this person would actually assist in that and making sure that we have coordinated efforts, making sure that we're not leaving anybody out, making sure that we're able to go out, have these conversations with individuals. Again, bring them to the table. We want to be more coordinated with that because, again, we know that it takes everybody in order for MPS to move. And so we just want to be more coordinated with that. This person will work directly with me, report directly to me, and this is going to be a team effort.
Okay, so joined at the hip.
Yes, join that hips.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess your team, your executive team will be a part of this team as well,
Definitely,
right?
most definitely, most definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Cloud?
I take it this would be someone that would go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That
ma'am.
would go to meetings to report back to you while you're doing the work of
School district. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
school
ma'am.
improvement.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ms.
I-
Dr. Coleman and then Dr. Keith.
Okay, as I looked at this, I saw a lot of overlap, like District 4 member Brown said. When I see the things that are described here, I do see the superintendent. And I also look at the, I'm sorry, the director of communications, and there is a bit of overlap with that department as well. And I'm trying to understand, do we need a chief of strategic partnerships and a director of communications at the cost of nearly $300,000? Or can we combine those two and allow the person who is the chief of, whether it's strategic partnerships and communications, to make certain that we have a cohesive brand? When it comes down to communications, that person would be able to ensure that every division, as well as the comms department, would all be following the same game plan. And I have to be careful about overstep. But if asked, never mind. I have some real concerns, again, because that would be two big salaries. Where and I can see some reactions that that's a lot of work for one person. You and I talked extensively about this, and you have communicated with me that the person who is already doing one of the jobs is already doing both. So if that person is doing both jobs, do we need to add that second person right now? Is there a lack? Is there a deficiency in what we have? I understand we want to broaden, but again, we do want to be careful about too many moving pieces. We want to be careful about making certain that we maintain a level of trust and belonging. We want all of our people to feel like they belong. We don't want anyone. I think my concern was, and I think I mentioned this early on, why are we moving so fast? Is there something wrong? What are the deficits? What are the deficiencies? And if there are no deficiencies, if we want right now to ask our comms person to take on assisting with advocacy and getting into the community a little more. This person already works with family and community engagement. They already work with our legislators. They already work with, so why do we need two different people right now? I do know that we want to grow that department, and I do know that the person who's in that position has been working to grow that department already. And the department is doing some fabulous things. So, do we need to move that fast on hiring or placing in two new positions, or can we slow down just a bit, take care of our chief of strategic partnerships and possibly communications? You would be the one to, you and your team would be the ones to make certain that the job description fit and that it was cohesive And as the comms department continues to grow, we bring in those people that we already know you'll be asking us for because we've seen those job descriptions.
Dr. Keith?
I'll
No,
after
go
her.
ahead.
No, let's go.
Are you yielding over to?
No, I'll go ahead. I'm just going to say it. I just feel like I've listened to my colleague. It's almost like she's got buzzwords, why are we moving so fast? My God, why have we moved so slow? Thank God we're moving. We're moving. That's what I talked with another colleague of mine today, Ms. Portis, who said Dr. Mackey wanted us to take risk and move forward. That's exactly what we're doing. So did we not have that talk today? My other thing is, what I don't understand is we're questioning trying to get our story out there. We're trying to stop it. We've got a story to say, and we're using what I almost say, we're moving too fast. We're putting a block on something that we need to move on. We had, to me, this was, if you talk about strategy, I would say our superintendent has made the smartest, if we were playing chess, to take himself out of being a part of the chamber, because our former superintendent did exactly what was just said. Oh, I thought that was your job. Was it his job to get on the board for the chamber? Was it his job to get on the board for United Way? How many boards does a superintendent serve on? To me, I want my superintendent here. So to hire somebody to be on somebody else's board, by God, thank you. I'm done.
Okay.
Ms. Cloud?
I call for the question, please.
The question has been called for. We will now go into a vote where we actually did the discussion. All those in favor of the superintendent's recommendation do so by a showing of hands.
The question is, he recommended, I'm proposing to accept the recommendation for the job description of Chief of Strategic Partnerships.
Is that a motion?
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation.
And I second it.
All those against? You don't call for extensions.
Don't move too fast.
The next item, agenda, Dr. Byrd.
Yes, ma'am. Director of Communications. As we know, communication plays a vital role in shaping and sharing the district's narrative, promoting transparency, and keeping our internal and external stakeholders well informed. It is my intention to strengthen the communications department to make it more accessible, dynamic, and informative. The revised revision includes developing our own MPS news station that would include launching weekly broadcasts, hosting district-wide podcasts, increasing real-time engagement across all social media platforms, and expanding community outreach initiatives. These efforts are critical to improving public trust, building strong community connections, and telling the success stories happening right here in MPS. With that being said, Superintendent recommends approval of action item K, job description for Director of Communications.
Superintendent has made a motion or the job description, has recommended the job description for Director of Communications. Is there a motion?
I make the motion to accept the job description of the Director of Communications.
So you move to?
I move it. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I move it. I want to move it.
So moved, huh? All right, is there a second? All right, it has been moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the superintendent's recommendation, do so by showing of hands. All right, 4, all those who are opposed? 1. All right. This meeting is now adjourned. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, July 8th at 5:00 p.m.